So hello everyone, my name is Tanmay and I am the program manager here at Powerfly and be your host today for this amazing chat and learn. So today we will be talking about an amazing career field, which is data science. We will be diving deep into it. So yeah, just you're in for a ride. So before we begin, I will go through a couple of housekeeping rules. So this session is meant to be engaging. So if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat, and we'll make sure that our speaker gets to them and answers those. This session is also being recorded. So if due to any reason you are not being able to sit till the end or finish the entire session, and we will email a rewatch link in a few days, and you can find it posted to our YouTube channel as well. And will it even happen if it wasn't on social media? So follow us on @PowerToFly and follow Illustro, our partner today, on all the social media handles as well. So with that being said, let's move to our amazing speaker for the session, Vaibhav Chandan. So Vaibhav holds a BTech degree from IIT Bombay. He has completed the Google Data Analytics Professional Certificate and specializes in data analytics. He is exceptionally proficient in platforms for data analysis and reporting. Vaibhav is excited by the future, and he is eager to discuss the current trends within the data analytics and data science with you. So welcome, Vaibhav, and so nice to have you with us here. This was a brief introduction, so let us know more about you and your life journey so far.
Hey, hi Sanmay. Yeah, hello everyone. Just thanks for the honor of having me here. Yeah, so as Sanmay said, I hold a BTech degree from IIT Bombay. I did my BTech in metallurgical engineering, yet I'm here in data science. So that's something that you see, it's very common. People doing BTech in a lot of different branches, but yet manage to come into IT sectors and all. Yeah, so let me share my screen as well. Uh, Okay. Yes. So just want to add more about myself. Yeah. So I graduated in the year 2021, and I have been working since last 1.5 years in Dell, and I'm working as a data science analyst. So I'm very excited to share my journey with you, and like to start with what is data science. And I was given the information that most of us here are aspiring data scientists. Yeah. So yeah, I would like to inform you, or would like to share about how data science actually works, and what is the role of data scientist, and yeah, what skills you need to achieve, or you need to polish in order to get a career, build a career in data science. So this is something that we have planned for the agenda. Like, we'll first discuss about the data science, and then the role of data scientist, and how the data science workflow looks like, and based on the workflow, what are the job roles that are available in the data science field, and for each job, what are the essential skills that are required. So yeah, without any further delay, let's start about what is data science. Yes. So it is more than a buzzword right now in every industry. If you look for every industry, be it biotechnology, or IT, or even finance, right? So every industry is like crazy about this word data science. So what exactly is data science? So it's nothing but the study of data to extract meaningful insights for business. Nothing does it for free. Nothing. No one wants to do it just for the sake of having fun. It is to boost their business. Yeah. But is it something new? No, it's not. It's been done since ages, and that was actually traditional research of business. Even like if you take an example of physics, right? So a lot of physicists have been using data to prove their theories, or even if you look at the old businesses, they have been using data to uh, tactfully manage their business, and increase their profits. Everyone has been looking at the profit sheets, the revenue sheets, and all. But what has changed in this century, that everyone is focused on data science? So there are two major changes that have happened here. It's the volume of data. Now, with the increasing business, with the increasing reach, the amount of data that we have generated, it's too huge, and the old traditional methods of handling the data wouldn't work here. And the second thing is the diversity of data. Now we have such diverse data. We have data for like if you check the industries, different industry would have different type of data. So if you look at IT industry, they will have data which belongs to the IT applications, IT services. But if you look at the financial industry, they have data related to the financial figures. They have related data related to the uh, company revenues and all, right? So the diversity of data and the volume of data both have exponentially advanced. So the old traditional methods don't work now. We need more kind of technically advanced method, more efficient methods to handle those data and to create meaningful insights from that data. And that is what is data science right now. So it's the infusion of computer science or the IT developments into the old mathematical and statistics and combine it with the business knowledge. So this chart is one of my favorite. It gives a flavor of everything. So people actually have a lot of questions like, what is machine learning? How is it different from data science and all? So it's not exactly different, but it's just how much it's like how much business knowledge you add to the overlap of computer science and mathematics. So if you just do mathematics and computer science overlap, it's more of research towards the statistics, which is like machine learning and AI or artificial neural networks and all. But if you add the business knowledge to it, it will give you the insights related to business and how would you improvise your business. So that's the union of all these three fields. Yeah, it would actually help us answer four questions: what happened, why it happened, what will happen, and what can be done with the results. So any business would want to know this, right? What is happening with their business? If they would definitely have they definitely have the data, but they would want to know, like they want to make the sense of the data, like what is actually happening in my business, and if something is happening, what's the reason? And if I'm able to know what is happening, why is happening, can I predict what will happen next, right? And how can I leverage that prediction? This is what a business would definitely want to know in order to grow. Yeah, so this is what is data science. Yeah. I hope I was able to bypass all the jargon and just give you the crisp and clear definition based on the modern times. Yeah. So let's discuss about the application of data science, just a real life example, or what a data scientist would do, right? Data scientist is someone who is working in data science, right? So what would the data scientist do, or a typical day in the life of data scientist, if you say? So let's take an example here. There's an e-commerce company, right? And the customers of the e-commerce company are giving negative reviews for the company because they are receiving the products at a delayed time. The delivery time, it's taking too long for the customers, and this is leading to low user ratings, right? And if it's showing low user ratings, the impact would definitely be negative for the e-commerce company. There would be lesser customers coming, lesser revenue and all, right? So how a data scientist can help the company boost its business? This is a typical kind of example that we can see. So this is more of a broader kind of problem statement we have, but we have similar kinds of problem statements in real life as well. So this particular example is related to e-commerce company, but if you just extend it to other kind of industries, if I'm looking at an application, how can I improve the application using the data and all? So it would be on the similar lines. So this is just an example that we'll take. Now we'll go back to the four questions that we were actually listing. What happened, why it happened, what will happen, and what can be done with the results. Here, we want to know what is happening and why it's happening. So what we know that user ratings are low related to delivery time. Now, why this is happening? And if I know why, can I actually predict what will happen next? But if I change something in my business, if I know why, can I change something in my business and predict what will happen? And using that, what will happen? How can I, leverage this whole data science into my business? So that is what is data scientist's job, to help the kind of business people or the business to answer these kinds of questions in order to boost its business. That's it. So there are a couple of steps needed here in order to answer these questions. And the first step itself is to ask questions, because data scientists would want to know would want to know more about the business. So see, data scientist is a technical guy. You know, he wouldn't know or she wouldn't know about the business. So he or she wouldn't know about the e-commerce company or the business process of the e-commerce company. How many products do you handle? What is your delivery what's your delivery process, or how many vendors you are working with? What kind of products do you deliver? And how diverse are your customers? Where are your customers coming from? So these are all like questions that uh, data scientist needs to ask the uh, the business department to in order to gain the understanding of the problem statement. See, if you just directly start working with the data, it won't make sense. You need to have that knowledge, the link between the data and the business in order to create insights. So that's the first step. You need to ask questions. You need to create a bigger picture in your mind. Like, what am I working with? What am I going to do in order to answer those four questions? And what if I answer those questions, what this person is expecting, you know? So that's the kind of understanding the data scientist needs to have. And in order to get that understanding, you need to ask questions. And let's say you have that answer, you have information about the customers, like the region that the customers are coming from, the type of products that are being sold on that e-commerce website, the type of vendors they have been working with, right? And yeah, the delivery time, how much delivery time for each customer, each product. And yeah, so something like that, which customer is giving low rating, and the comment why it was low. So even we need to know, or the data scientist needs to know, like what's the expectation, or what's the resources at his or her disposal. It might be the case that uh, they the business folks, they don't have any information about the vendors. So that's a challenge, right? So if you in your mind before clearing these kinds of questions, you directly run into analysis, right? Okay, let's analyze the vendor data and we'll get the results. But to start with, you don't have the vendor data. So how are you going to work with it? So you need to plan this first. In order to plan, you need to first clear the business understanding, and for that you need to ask questions. Yeah. So the next step would be data collection. So you have the data of customers, you have data of products and all, but it's not necessary that all of this data would be in one place. It's not necessary to start with that you will have all the data. So if you don't have all the data, you'll have to uh, you know kind of create a process in order to capture that data. So let's say there's they have, like, the e-commerce company have the data related to the customer ratings, but they don't have the description of the comment, which like most of us, we order a lot of things from e-commerce websites like Amazon, Flipkart. And after we provide a rating, they ask us why are you giving us low rating or a high rating or whatever. So let's say that's not present with them. So it might be the case, like, it might be we might come into the company, and the data scientists, they come on the same page that we need that data for an analysis. So we'll create a process to start capturing that data. So there are a lot of things. For example, the vendor data, the vendor data, they are storing at in a different database. But in order to for us to run an analysis, we want all this data in one place. So how are we going to design the process of data collection and data gathering? So that is another key step that's coming here. So we'll actually link all these steps, and we'll work the data science workflow. And based on that workflow, there are different job roles. So this is what a data scientist would do in general, right? So but let's say an e-commerce, that e-commerce company is Amazon. One data scientist wouldn't actually work for the entire problem statement. There would be distribution of labor there. So this is what a data scientist would do in general. So yeah, the first step is to ask questions, get understanding. Second step is to collect the data, and then moving on to the third step is the data preparation or the data cleaning. And this is the most hectic job, or let's say the 80% time consuming job. So if you are working on the data for 100% of time, 80% time you're actually cleaning the data, because the data in real life, it's not as beautiful as you get on in some courses where you're working on some project. That data is way too beautiful, but in real life the data is just half of the time it doesn't make sense. So you need to do a lot of operations on the data. You need to clean the data, you need to transform the data, you need to bring all the if there are some dates, so you need to have those dates in a particular format. If you're working on the entire data, you want the entire dates in the entire data into one format. So this whole data cleaning, data transformation step would be like clubbed as data preparation. And yeah, as I mentioned, it is the most critical step. And if you don't do this, if you directly skip to data analysis, it won't make sense. The analysis itself won't make sense. You won't get any insights. So in order to make it work, you need to do this data preparation, data cleaning. And this is a very time consuming process. And yeah, I've attached a meme here. So everyone wants to jump into data analysis and do some crunching and all, just to find out how it's looking, what are the insights, and what I can what are the future prospects of these insights, and how can I and yeah, just like thousand things after doing the analysis. But before doing the analysis, you need to clean the data, and it's very yeah, critical step. So after you have the clean data and like prepared data, you can actually now start working with it in a more exploratory way. So let's say you have the data for vendor, you have the data for customers, you have all the data related to that e-commerce company, their customers, their entire supply chain, and every process. Now you're starting to look where are the loopholes, and then once you analyze, you find out, okay, so these particular low ratings are coming only from a certain region, and you actually dig deep into that region and found out that this whole customers who are actually giving low ratings, the products are being delivered only by one vendor. So that the ratings are now actually low for that particular vendor, and it's not for the complete e-commerce company. Now you have actually stepped stepped down into just a subset of problems. Previously it was to a bigger problem to solve, like the company is losing its revenue and we don't know why, we just know that the ratings are low. But how, like which particular customers are giving low ratings, and if those customers are giving low rating, what's the reason, or what could be the reason behind it? Now you found out, okay, so there's this one vendor which is actually delivering the products late, and it's only that vendor. So now you have the answer, okay, we need to deal with this vendor. We don't need to change our entire business process, we just need to focus on this, and that might solve the problem. Okay, but again, we starting at the starting we discussed, like we need to ask questions and all. So it might be the case, one obvious solution is like just replace the vendor. You bring a new vendor which is more efficient, or which has more resources, and that particular vendor can handle this particular delivery on times. But let's say the business has a funding issue, the company has funding issue. It might be the case that this particular solution is not an option for them. So how are you going to build a, like not just one solution but the best possible solution? That is, for that reason you need to have the all all the information about the company, the business, and the yeah, you need to have options of solutions, and you need to select the best option out of it. So that's the job of data scientist. It's not just giving insights, but giving the best recommendation out of those insights. So once you do data exploratory data analysis, now we found out, right, that this particular vendor is the key problem here in delivering the products at a delayed time. Now how do we solve this? So definitely replacing the vendor is not an option. Okay, now what can we do? We can actually run an analysis or run some advanced data modeling technique, which would you know give, or which would help the business a lot less workload on this vendor, and would give a more precise ETA for delivery for the customers. So let's say I'm a customer and I'm getting the notification that I've ordered this particular product and it will be delivered in 12 days of time. But because the vendor is it's not efficient and it's taking 15 days of time, I'll be upset. But if I am informed previously beforehand that it will take around 15 to 17 days, my disappointment would be slightly less. It wouldn't be zero, but yeah, slightly less. So okay, so that's one of the solution. Yeah, like we can actually optimize our prediction model to predict a more accurate date, taking into account this particular situation. So you can do this only after exploring the data, finding the relations, finding the pattern in the data. You cannot directly go and build the model to start with, because if you did that, you wouldn't know what particular bias might be coming into the data. So here the bias was coming from the vendor. And yeah, once you have the clean and good looking data, you can go for modeling. But yeah, again, here there are a lot of methods that come into picture, which would be the best method to build a machine learning model, and which would be the best to deploy, and a lot of things. So this is just one of the key step here. And once you do this all kinds of analysis, you need to go back to the company or the business to explain them this. You cannot direct go to the company and tell them that we did python coding, we built a machine learning model, we built clustering model, we did this and that and that. No, they need to know only that much they can understand. You cannot burden them with the technical jargon. So the company or the business folks, they wouldn't understand everything. So you need to present the data into a more interpretable way. So for that, data visualization is a key step. So you have the insights, you have recommendations. So you need to relay the information in a more easier way for the business folks to consume. And for that, there are different tools like Power BI and all. So yeah, we'll be discussing about the tools and all technologies that are actually in place here. But yeah, so this is just to give you a gist of entire life cycle, or the entire flow of the or basically a day in life of a data scientist. How the data scientist approaches a problem, what kind of steps come into the picture when you are working with a particular problem statement, right? So yeah, these are the 6 key steps, and yeah, that's done. Then we have the workflow ready. We first need to the data scientist first needs to define a problem statement. The scientist needs to create an ecosystem for data collection. Then there's a key step of data preparation, data analysis, data visualization, and data modeling. Yeah. So data modeling I have put after data visualization, because there are some kind of analysis or kind of modeling which would come only which would be so this is actually advanced analytics. Not every analysis would require modeling. So you can actually give a lot of meaningful insights directly from Excel analysis using MS Excel. You don't need to use Python. You don't need to use machine learning and all. So, but in some cases you need to use. So for that reason, this modeling can come after visualization or before so this modeling and visualization, I've put it here, and it's for my convenience to explain you the different job roles available based on the skills. So yeah, so these all 6 steps are something that a full stack data scientist would do. But as I explained earlier, it's not always the case that a company would give entire operation to just one person, because it's not possible. If it's given, it would take around how many years, I cannot even say, like how many years of single person would take to solve this all complete all these steps by himself or herself. So there are teams. So this is the expectation from a full stack data scientist. that the data scientist would know all of these steps, but there are some specializations. A data scientist would know the process of data collection, but wouldn't himself or herself go and code and create a database for ingestion of the data, for maintenance of the database and all. So for that reason, we have data engineer who is solely responsible for data collection process, data ingestion, data collection. And then we have data preparation, data analysis, data visualization. These all steps, and a data analyst is someone who would work on these particular steps. Data analyst might even work with data modeling, but majority of the cases, data preparation, data analysis, data visualization, these are the key steps that a data analyst works on. And then when there is a requirement of building a machine learning model, an advanced analytical method to be used, like artificial neural networks or maybe NLP or something like that, a ML engineer would come into the picture, which has that particular set of skills. So these are the four key people who would come into the picture, would work as a team to solve this particular problem statement. So yeah, that's the whole crux of the data science workflow. Like basically this is how the industries or the uh, real life scenario looks like this is the problem. If we have someone, if some company has some problem statement, this is what the data science team would do, and that's what our team also does. So at Dell, I'm not directly working with the business, but I'm actually working with IT team. So just like we discussed, like e-commerce company wants to improve the user experience of the like website, we are actually working on improving the user experience of Dell.com website. So in order to do that, we actually collect the data related to the users who come onto the website, and we have a separate ecosystem for that, and we have a separate data engineering team for that. And then we actually, based on the requirement or based on the kind of analysis we want to do, we select or we clean the data related to just those particular pieces of analysis. Then we analyze the data, and we visualize the data. We present that to our business stakeholders, our IT stakeholders, who would want to know the kind of behavior the users are performing on the website, and in what way we can improve the user experience on the website. And then when we want to deploy a particular machine learning algorithm on the website, let's say as a classic example would be a recommender engine. If you want to, if you have a look at the Netflix tool or Netflix app, if you watch a particular TV series, you would get recommendations based on the similar kind of web series you would get recommendation for. So similarly, like if you want to create something like that on a website, like let's say Dell website, then that would be machine learning engineers who would be coming into the picture. They would build that model, and then deploy that model. But this entire project would be led by a full stack data scientist, because data scientists would be aware of every step here, wouldn't have the expertise of and wouldn't know the nitty gritty and like the exact minute details of every technology and every step. But yes, the data scientist would have the idea or the broad understanding of every step. And if some team is getting stuck at some process, the data scientist would be there to assist that particular team there. Yeah. And based on this kind of classification or this kinds of bifurcation that we have done here, like we discussed, data collection, it's the role of data engineer. And then data analysis, data visualization, or maybe even data preparation, data cleaning process being done by data analyst. And machine learning engineer is someone who would build machine learning models, deploy those machine learning models, and even monitor the outcomes of those machine learning models. Yeah. So based on this particular job roles, we have a different based on the different these steps of data analysis, we have different kinds of jobs available. So data scientist is someone who would actually lead the teams, or single-handedly would do all kinds of operations. But in addition to that, data scientist is someone who would also research and develop new analytical methods, or it could be the like, so that requires a lot of expertise. So if the current method, the traditional method of machine learning is not working, so what new can be done? So that research is also one of the R&R, or roles and responsibility of data scientist. So for that to like work upon, the essential skills would be, when we talk about the programming languages, Python and R are the most popular programming languages for the analytics domain, data science domain. And SQL is something, or the SQL is something that is being used to extract the data. And if you just have a look at the all four profiles or the roles, Python, R, SQL are the common in all. So yeah, these are the, like, it's not hidden that these three are the programming languages that one needs to know if they want to build a career in data science. And yeah, apart from these particular programming languages, data scientist is someone who would also know, like, would also have the knowledge of artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning, and yeah, some visualization tools as well, like Power BI, Tableau, right? And yeah, we'll talk about data engineer. And now for data engineer, we have seen, right, data collection is the key process. And it might look that data collection, it's the initial step, and it's not much there, like it's not much data collection. But yeah, it is, because when we are talking about big data, handling and building those ecosystems to store and ensure the availability of data, it's quite a big task. So when we
There seems to be a technical error. So, do you have Vaibhav on the line? I'm trying to reach.
Just give me a minute. I'll get in touch with him.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, in the meantime, while we are getting Vaibhav online, it was, I think, a technical snag. Can you, if you have any questions, feel free to put that in the chat. We have Vaibhav here again. So, Vaibhav, take the stage.
Yes, really sorry, guys. There was a power cut here. There is a power cut here, so I
Okay.
switched the network. Yeah, thanks for having the patience. And this usually happens. Yeah, so okay. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry. And here we go. Yes. Okay, we are back. So yes, we are discussing about data engineers, and data engineer is someone who actually builds and maintains the systems or the databases to store the data, and ensuring its availability itself is a big task. So there are like, data engineering is again, data engineer is quite a, like, big term. But apart from data engineering consists a lot of different roles as well. Like database administrator is also one of the term you might have heard. So database administrator is someone who actually yeah, looks and supports the data scientist, data analyst, if there is a problem in accessing the data. So yeah, so building the entire ecosystem comes under the data engineer, and the skills required for that are again Python, R, SQL, knowledge of cloud databases, Hadoop, Hive, MongoDB, Cassandra, Scala, and yeah. So list goes on. The list actually wouldn't end if you are actually planning to add all the skills, because different business have different ecosystems. So some company would store data in MongoDB, some company would store data in Hadoop. But if the main kind of takeaway here is, like, you need to focus on the process, like the crux. So the tools can be many. So if you want to, like if you take an example of data visualization, both Power BI and Tableau would do the work, but you need to know what is data visualization. So same goes with data engineering. You need to know what is data engineering. Tools are many to work with. Yeah. And now when we look at data analyst, so the work of data analyst, it's actually quite vivid, and it is very generic term that's being used in the industry, because most of the data analysts, they're actually working as data scientists, and like some data analysts, they're actually working as business analysts. Some are actually working as business intelligence analyst, business intelligence developer. Some are working as visualization analyst. So this terms are, not like this whole uh, like data analyst, it's very generic term. So there are a lot of different sub roles that which comes under this particular title. But yeah, so the main job here would be to transform, manipulate, visualize the data to gather insights. And the main job of data analyst, to just, if you want to frame it in one line, it's to gather insights from the data and report it to the particular stakeholders. So here in this case, it would be the e-commerce company that which we are talking about. So making sense of the data is something that a data analyst would do. So here the skills would be the same, like Python, R, SQL, Excel, Tableau, Power BI. These are the visualization tools. And ML techniques, like machine learning techniques, are also used by data analysts, because a simple Excel analysis or simple analysis from Python pandas, or like R, wouldn't give us quite a deeper insight. If you want to go a step deeper, you'd want to definitely use some machine learning techniques. Okay, and then we have ML engineers. So data analyst is someone who was actually building the models to gather insights, but ML engineer is someone who would actually deploy these particular models onto the servers or onto the website of the particular company, or just, maybe it could be at some particular yeah, some particular server where like, this particular model needs to run. So when we're talking about a recommender engine, if you take an example of Netflix, if you watch a particular TV show, suggestions for similar kind of TV shows will come up. Now there is actually a machine learning algorithm that is actually being run over there, and that algorithm is deployed onto that particular server of Netflix. So that deployment, monitoring, and availability and all, it's being actually ensured by the machine learning engineers behind those algorithms. So yeah, again here, but machine learning engineer would actually need to have more technically advanced skills like data structures, algorithms, object-oriented programming, and apart from Python, R, and yeah, fundamental knowledge of artificial intelligence is a must. So yeah, I've also mentioned the average salaries because this was one of the talking point we had on the agenda. So yeah, again, the salaries actually vary a lot based on the industries. But yeah, this is what we can say an average. If you look at all the industries, all the roles, a beginner or a fresher would actually, or maybe 1 or 2 years of experience candidate can actually look for. So these are the figures. We can see data scientist is someone who is actually who stands at the top, followed by data engineer or ML engineer, and then comes the data analyst. Yeah. So this is all about the kinds of job roles we have. And yeah, moving to the next one, uh, we have the essential skills. So when we look here, I've only listed the technical skills, but to start with, you need to have three basic skills, and this is a must. Like problem solving skill is a must. You cannot opt for anything like related to data science unless and until you have that problem solving attitude. So many of the interviews that that are actually being taken for any kind of role in data science, they would often pose you with a puzzle. That puzzle is to test your problem solving skill. Like how would you approach a problem? how effectively can you extract the information about the problem that you're given, and how do you you know utilize the resources which are at your disposal, and how innovative you can be. So this is something that is a must. So for the candidates who are actually aspiring for like data science related jobs and are actually preparing for interviews, I would suggest you guys to go through like the puzzles that are actually available on a lot of different websites. Like for Gigs, for Gig62 is one of the website to start with. There are a lot of puzzles, so you will actually get an understanding of how problem solving actually is being tested in interviews. So yeah, that's one of the key skill. And mathematics and statistics comes by default because you're working with data. And the first lesson which we all have actually learned in our school, it was related to mean, median, mode, the three basic statistical measures. And now if you're working at a much bigger data, much diverse data, there will be a lot of different statistical measures that would be coming in, various statistical terms or various statistical methods that are coming in. You need to know what an outlier is if you're working with such a big data. So these particular terms, this particular techniques, you need to have knowledge about this. And mathematics and statistics, that's the reason why it's a key skill for a data scientist. And then comes in the communication. So communication skills, it is actually useful for all the jobs. But why data science? In data science, this is a key skill. So if you just go back, if you recap to the slides that we were like talking about the steps, the first step was to ask questions. And in order to ask questions, you need to know what kind of questions you want to ask, and you need to ask the questions in such a way that you get the required answer. So the way you interact with your clients or the business team is something that is at a test. So communication skills are something that which are very important. First, in order to get information from them, and then comes the data visualization step in which you have to give information to them. So this give and take of information needs to happen in a smoother way, because again, if you give some insight and the business folks or maybe the company takes it in a different way or interprets its meaning as entirely different, then entire six steps that we have mentioned, they would go in vain, and the entire efforts of the data science team would go in vain if we are not able to relay the correct information. So for that reason, we need to the data scientist need to have a good communication skill, or any particular person who is aspiring to have like career in data science, be it an ML engineer or data engineer or data analyst. Everyone needs to work on these particular three skills. So that's the pillar that's actually supporting the all the job roles. And then we have some technical skills, or like the conceptual knowledge about artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and then programming knowledge about Python, R, SQL, and some idea about the cloud services that are present in order to because different companies have different cloud services. Like some company might have AWS as their uh, yeah and some company might have Azure. So it's not a must, but it's good to have. So it's not a must. I'm actually stressing it's not a must. It's not a must because it's something that the company can train you. If you have all the relevant skills, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, these particular skills are not something that are too much difficult. And then there are like visualization tools like Power BI and Tableau. So Power BI and Tableau, these particular two tools are the key tools. Apart from this, like as per my experience, there haven't been more kind of advanced tools that are currently in place. So if you have uh, a mastery of these particular two tools, it would be more than sufficient for all the data visualizations that you are expected to do. So yeah, this actually gives as the summary of all the skills that are actually essential for a career in data science. Yeah, so we are at the end of the topic, and let's go back to the first step of asking the questions.
Absolutely,
So
Vaibhav.
yeah,
Thank you so much for covering this, in quite a deep rigor. And I believe you kind of answered a lot of questions that we had previously received. And for all of the folks who have joined us live, I urge you to, take this time to ask any of the questions that you have in the chat box, and we will, ask those questions to Vaibhav. So moving on, so there was one of the questions that we got is basically to learn more about your experience. So how did you break into the industry, and what are some of the challenges you face while navigating your professional journey?
yes, and my yeah. So this is a question which I would like to answer because there are a lot of people I know. To start with, when I was talking about my introduction, I mentioned my background was from metallurgical engineering. And there are a lot of people who actually don't have means to go into data science domain. So yeah, for them, I'd want to share like I I actually was interested in research. I did not have any inclination towards data science previously, but yeah, when I was working on my research projects in metallurgy or material science, there was this experimental data that we had to work with, and there were a lot of different statistical methods I needed to use. So when I was actually going through those statistical methods, learning of those statistical methods, I came to know that there's a different entire domain of data science that is present for this. So that was the time when I took the opportunity to learn more about the data science techniques. I took up some courses like SQL was one of the essential skill that I mentioned, and that was the time when I learned SQL, and I learned about Python programming. So Python programming, I had some background. So, but more towards the data science way, like Python. Many developers also use Python, but you don't need to know as much as a developer. You don't need to know about the objects and classes, but you need to have some information about it. So yeah,
Sure.
that's when I started technically advancing myself. And I think also there are some couple of couple of courses available online, and there are actually a lot, to be honest. Yeah, so anyone can actually take up the courses, and don't let you yourself think that you don't have any if you don't have any experience in the data science domain, then you don't stand a chance. So actually, in my interview, like when the interviewer asked me about my experience, I said like I mentioned the same experience as my research project. Like that was the only time when I used my data science. Yeah, so that itself is okay, because I think I'm not just saying that you should limit yourself to that, but yeah, you don't let yourself think that if you don't have any previous experience in data science, you don't stand a chance. You do stand a chance. You just need to know what you have to do. You need to master the essential skills.
Sure.
And yeah,
Absolutely. And, kind of doubling down on that no experience part, for candidates who have no previous experience in data science, like, would you advise them in creating special projects for the interview process? And what kind of projects could they be? And how can they best showcase their skills when they don't have the experience to back it up?
yes, sure. So yeah, the answer actually lies in in the question itself. Like you need to work on the projects. So there are a lot of
True.
freelancing projects. So not a freelancing is not a good word, but if you open Kaggle is one website, wherein there are a lot of different problem statements and data sets available for the folks to work on. So there are actually a lot of courses which come up with which come with capstone projects. So just take full advantage of those projects. Don't limit yourself to the to the questions that are answered in the project. You have data, you have the clean data. So just use as much learn as much as possible. Try to apply all sorts of machine learning techniques that you have learned there, and try to get
Sure.
more insights out of that particular data itself. So yeah, kaggle.com is one of the website, if we want to discuss like the availability of those particular problem statements and data sets. And I think Coursera also has some projects and courses which come with data sets to work upon. And yeah, I can think of those. But yeah, I think you guys are the expert who would know the resources for that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vaibhav. And I'm getting some questions. Are the courses available online? I think Kaggle and Coursera, they are completely online and completely virtual. So please check out kaggle.com and Coursera, for relevant courses. And a simple Google search would also yield you a lot of courses on this regard. So moving on, what does a job hunting strategy look like in data science? For absolute beginners who are starting their journey, where like how should they, kind of create or frame their resumes for data science specific roles? What are some must-have things in the resumes, and how to network properly? What are the aspects that goes on, while job hunting in the data science arena?
Yes. That's a very key step, in job hunting. So first step is to create a good resume. So for
Mhm.
creating that resume, you would definitely want to add all the skills that I mentioned. So adding the skills isn't enough. You need to actually show how you use those skills. So for that reason, completing a course isn't enough. You need to actually work on a project highlighting that you have utilized these skills in that particular project. So try to work on projects, try to work on data sets, and then you have the application of that skill, and you can boost that you have applied this skills in this project, and that itself is a key step. If someone is
True.
looking at your resume and he or she is looking for experience, and let's say this is a fresher, so there's no experience in data science, but the interviewer would definitely want to know if the person has the skill, has he or she applied that skill. And co- uh, yeah, projects are the way to show that. And apart from that, I would also suggest you guys to create a GitHub profile, or some maybe profile wherein you have the like repository of your particular projects that you've worked on, and add the link of that particular repository in your resume. So a GitHub profile link is something that you can add. A LinkedIn profile definitely should add. And if you are doing some projects, you can share it on LinkedIn that I've been working on this particular project. You can share it. You can actually network with a lot of people belonging to the domain. A simple LinkedIn search, if you want to look at people who are working in data science in Google, just do a LinkedIn search, just write data science Google. You would get a list of people who are actually working in data science at Google. Look at their
True.
profile, connect with them, have a chat about them, ask them. Like, yeah, definitely not all reply, but yeah, if you have a shot at 100 people, you do have 1% of chance, like out of those 100, at least
Success rate.
one
True.
person can answer and guide you. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just take your chances, and knock a lot of doors. Somebody will definitely answer. So
Yeah.
love that, Weber.
Yes,
So
yes.
moving on, how do you see the future of data science evolving, and how can we best prepare for it?
Yes, so that's actually uh very, yeah. So the future, it's actually data science has a great future, because when I mentioned what all steps or what all skills that are needed in data science, in the beginning itself I showed there is an overlap of mathematics and statistics, overlap of computer science, IT, overlap of business analytics or business knowledge. So finding all these three skills in one place is a very it's very difficult, to be honest. So if if someone has that particular skill, he or she is of great value. So if
Mhm.
someone is focusing, or if someone is aspiring to become a full stack data scientist, that person has a great value, great potential, because this is the future. You can see data everywhere. Everywhere like any particular business decision wouldn't be taken if they don't have the data. Every decision is backed up by data. So
True.
just name the company, just name the decision, it is backed by data. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have another question. So this person's background is in sales, but they're looking to pivot into data science. how can they best prepare for this transition, and what are some of the transferable skills that that they can showcase from their previous role in sales to this new role in data science that they're aspiring for?
So when it comes to sales, communication is definitely a very good skill. So you can bring it
Absolutely.
that. Yeah. And yeah, to like if we are looking for a direct transition, you can actually yeah. So marketing analytics itself is a very like evolving field, wherein
Hmm.
marketing and sales itself is getting revolutionized by data. So just an example I would like to share. Let's say MX, American Express, they are actually the sales team is trying to contact a lot of people for to like to avail their card services. But there are so many people, and MX has so many different kinds of card. Which person needs to be communicated or contacted for which particular card? you know so that data
Sure.
science comes in, like which person can avail is more inclined towards what particular service. So data science is everywhere, be it sales, be it marketing, be it business. So you just need to find out where you have used the data science skills. So it might be the case like sales, the salesperson might have contacted a lot of people, but might have actually identified that there is the high possibility that this person would give me a success rate. So just
Sure.
try to think it that way, because problem solving skills and mathematics and statistics, you need to keep this particular two skills in your resume, and yeah, in your kind of hand, if you want to build a career in data science. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vaibhav. And since we are inching towards the end of the session, there's this last question I wanted to ask you. With the current scenario in the tech world, with the layoffs happening and with this looming economic downturn that's there on the horizon, for somebody who is starting out and who's aspiring to start their first job as a data scientist, what would be your advice for them or tips for them? How to kind of be resilient to all the things that are happening outside and get the dream career that they aspire to.
Yes. So that's a good question actually. So I have some friends who actually backed 15%, 20% hike during this layoff period. So it was all possible because of the skills that they own. So just be
True.
confident about your skills. So whatever be the scenario, if you have the right amount of skills, if you have the right expertise, this particular scenario won't affect you a lot. So you just need to be confident about yourself. Just focus on building your skills, focus on building your resume, and yeah, you will be good to go.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vaibhav, for giving us so many nuggets of wisdom. And for everyone who has participated, we will be sending you the recording of this session. And you can also check out www.inlustro.net for, they also are a partner who helped us in, kind of co-organizing this session. So you can also find data science courses from them. And feel free to visit powerfly.com to check out all the open opportunities from the biggest brands out there and the Fortune 500 companies. And Vaibhav, how can folks, who are interested to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
Yes, you can reach me out on my LinkedIn.
Okay.
Preksha, like you can share my LinkedIn profile, and yes, and people can reach me out on LinkedIn. I keep on checking the LinkedIn inbox. So, and happy to help if anyone wants any kind of help related to what I can do. I do. I try to give the best kind of support. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so much,
Vaibhav.
Vaibhav.
And thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this session. We will see you in our next session. Have a good day. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.